Hi, Dave here. I'm back, and I've got a subject that is kind of new to me, and I just recently got interested in all this. Uh, and I'm looking over here because I have a few of the options that I already own. And what I'm talking about is pellets and pellet rifles. Now, I only own one pellet rifle. However, I have shot many of the old, what are they? The Daisy pellet rifles, the 177 caliber pellet rifles from when I was a kid. And those were the old pump actions, and then they had different ones that were like CO2 with the that looked like a big 357 Magnum. I've had those in the past, and honestly, the technology from that stuff to today is kind of shocking to somebody who's only had experience with that. And I wanted to show you some of the options that I picked up. Now, picture in your head the old Daisy BB guns with the 177 caliber pellets that used to be available from Daisy. And those were the only ones I ever saw as a kid. And growing up, I really didn't pay much attention to it because of my experience with them back then. It was like, you could shoot a bird maybe with it. Meh. Um, and it really wasn't a viable thing as far as a hunting rifle that I thought of. Now, looking at some of the options I have here, I'm kind of surprised. The first one I wanted to show you guys and these are all in 22 caliber because that is the size of the pellet gun that I have. Now, pellet guns these days can be anywhere from the 177 caliber all the way up to 50 caliber that I've seen advertised. Now, I've never shot one of those, but they go all the way down 357, 40 caliber. I've seen 25 caliber, 32. I mean, there are a lot of different sizes out there. It's amazing the options. And I'm not going to name any names of places you can buy them, but there's places online that have just lists and lists and lists of all these different kinds. Fully automatic BB guns. And it's like, really? When did this stuff become a thing? Now, I did have a semi-automatic pistol BB gun years ago, but that was kind of a joke thing that I had bought. And I was telling my wife I was going to shoot the lizards around the house. She hates lizards. And she was all for it. So it was kind of a joke. I used it here and there, but it was kind of just a little plaything around the house, out in the backyard, you could shoot it. Nobody bothered me. But nowadays, these things are actually pretty amazingly powerful that I've seen. I'm not saying this is going to take the place of a 22 caliber rifle or even on up to a 50 cal rifle. I'm just saying it's kind of a viable option at this point for hunting. I was shocked when I saw all this stuff. So I'm going to show you what I've found and the differences of these pellets, and let me know what you guys have experience with, because this is new to me. I've never seen this stuff. So these are called Diablo Field Heavies. And this is just the cap. And essentially it is a conical pellet like you would expect to see, the typical pellet shape. There it is. Can you see that? Yep, you can. And it's got a heavy head to it. And that's why it's called a field heavy, is because it's got a very heavy head to it. And the back, it's got the standard skirting of it back there. You can see. So, I mean, it is an interesting pellet, to say the least. It doesn't really go outside. Here, maybe I can show you like that. There we go. There you go. That's what it looks like. And it doesn't really break too much of the norms that you would think. Just the shape of it's a little bit odd. Then you have this one, which is called an Excite Spike. Now, the first one was an 18 grain 22 caliber pellet. This one, I believe, is about that 17 to 18 grain, maybe 16 grain, and it is also a 22 caliber pellet. And this one also has some of that standard shape. In fact, this one I think looks the closest to the original ones that I used to go and shoot as a kid. and you can see it comes to a point. It's more of a penetrator type. Um, and these are going to be a little bit lighter, so they're going to move a little bit faster. And it's an interesting shape to it, and once again has the skirting in the back, like you would expect from a pellet. Only it comes to a point, and it has these flutes down the side of it. So I don't know if there's a purpose for the flutes, but it's just an interesting thing. And these are all very soft lead. I've heard of people buying up a whole bunch of these things, melting them down and trying to make bullets out of them. You would have to mix other metals with this, like zincs and things, to toughen it up or harden it up a bit to shoot it out of a rifle. The speeds that a rifle will shoot with the rifling and the gunpowder, you're going to end up with a ton of leading if you use this just the way it is. That I can tell you. But if you bought some of this and you melted it with some zinc, you could do it. I don't know why you would want to, though. This is expensive for that. Then the next thing I found is, or I have here, is just over 18 grains, and this is a more of a hollow point. And I have two of this brand, but this was a 22 caliber. For everybody overseas, that's 5.5 millimeter. And this one has the shape you would expect from a pellet, only the tip of it is a hollow point. So there's the shape of it. And then you have what looks like a hollow point in the front. And then, obviously, your normal skirting in the back. And that's what catches the air and pushes it out. So that's the third one that I have that I found interesting. Now, this last one, I've been trying to get a hold of some of these, and these appear to be the more difficult ones to get a hold of. Now, this one is just over 25 grains, and this one is called a Rabbit Magnum. And with this one, you can see the shape is a bit different. This is not your standard, or what I picture when somebody says pellet. This is what I picture when somebody says old musket bullet, or when somebody says bullet. You know, this looks more like a actual bullet. And you can see, now it does have some of the shape of a pellet. You can see there, it's kind of a odd shaped sort of shape there. It does have a little bit of the skirting that comes out in the back. The front of it is just pointed like a bullet would be. And then, not a hollow point bullet. And then you have your skirting in the back. And these are 25 grain. They all appear to be made of the same sort of lead or mixture of lead. So they're all pretty soft. As far as height and length, it appears the difference in weight is just, let me see if I can stack a couple next to each other. It appears the weight is just the shape of it, allowing it to take more lead. None of these appear to be any longer than the other ones. I'm trying to stack them so you can see them. Unfortunately, they don't stack very nicely. Or not stack, but stand up next to each other very nicely. And hopefully I can get this up there. There you go. So they're all pretty much the same length. They're not really much different. But you can tell the weight of them. The three on the right over here, these guys are more of the traditional shape. And they all weigh about the same, close to 18 grains. The one on the left is your 25 grainer, and it appears the difference is where the others have the head to them, and then the kind of goes in and flares out. That one appears just to be solid lead across, which is probably where you're getting the extra weight from. It's an interesting, the whole thing to me is very interesting because it's all pretty new to me. I'm not used to seeing this kind of technology in pellets. and around air rifles. So I'm kind of interested in is this pretty standard? Which one of these is more standard? If any of you know, let me know down below what would be more standard. Now I can tell you amongst the original three that I had, the Chrome, the Hollow Point, the Spear, and the Diablo Field Heavies, there was a slight performance difference. I have not tried the Rabbit Magnums. The Field Heavies hit a little bit lower on the target at 25 yards than the other two. The other two were pretty similar in where they struck. So I think the weight ratio on them isn't very different. It's more of an aerodynamic type thing. But I could be wrong on that. It could just be nose weight on the field heavy. I don't know. I imagine the Rabbit Magnums, the ones that are the 25 grains, I imagine they'll hit a bit lower because of the weight of them. They'll lose energy faster. But once again, I haven't tested them yet, so I have no idea. I can't wait to test them and see what they are. They all do fit in the Magnum or in the magazine for that rifle I own, so that I imagine that's probably why they're all the same length. But I haven't got any answers on this one. I just wanted to show people in case there were other people out there like myself who don't have much experience with air rifles, and really the only experience we had is the old Daisy air rifles where you really had just the one option of pellets, and every once in a while you would see something for exotic pellets that had a little BB in the end of them and lead built around it, and it was like, what does that do? But this is, I found interesting. Thought I would do a short video and kind of bring it out and show what I found, and look for information from you guys. As long as it's not rude, I don't mind you telling me, oh well, this is pretty well known stuff. Tell me, I don't know, but leave a comment. Go ahead and let me know what you think about these. If you have experience, fill me in on it. But until then, this is Dave. We'll see you next time.